Welcome to Smutty Scriptures, the podcast where three best friends gather together to explore the holy texts of fantasy romance novels. I'm Head Priest Blue Cromwell, and I'm joined by my sisters in sin, Cuttlefish and Purple Space Cat, to tell you all about our thoughts on this episode's sacred text. We are once again reading Den of Vipers. This would be chapter 36 to the end of the book, which I believe is about chapter 70. There's a short little epilogue as well. So yeah, we have finally finished Den of Vipers.
Yes!
It was a long one. It was a long one. I will actually say, though, I like the second half a lot more than I like the first. It kind of turned around for me a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So happy to hear that.
Yeah.
I was like holding my breath, like.
What if I was like, actually, my impression has changed and I hate it even more?
This is the worst.
Just kidding. Well, I feel like it's important to know, just to recap, nobody thinks that this is a literary renaissance. Nobody thinks that this is going to be the new future classic.
Yeah.
This is not going to win any
Pulitzer
prizes or anything like that. Nobody's going to go down in history as like a savior of culture.
Yeah, but it really, maybe my problem with going into the second half, because I remember in the episode that we talked about this, you were saying that the second half is a lot more like plot heavy and whatnot, and I went into it thinking, I was like, oh, well, they're probably not going to be doing stuff as much, so I don't really know how I'm going to feel about that. I wonder if I'm going to like want to skip through parts of the story to get to like smutty scenes or something. But it turned out like I was more so like trying to skip through the smutty scenes trying to get to the plot. I was like, who betrayed you?
Wait a minute.
Where is she?
What happened?
I'm like, Roxy's in trouble. We have to go. Like, I really, yeah, it's almost like once that part of it kind of shined, because I do agree. I was re-listening to the episode quite a bit when I was recording it, the first episode we did at Den of Vipers. When we were kind of discussing the plot of the first half, and Purple, you were saying it just seemed like they kind of rushed together to get us to this point where these characters are all in the same room together, and then we can initiate all of the smut and the intimacy and the things. Yeah, it's it really rushed along that first half to get us there. But when I was settled into the story and I was going through it, I think that's why I enjoyed so much more of like the second half. I don't necessarily know if I love the journey to get here, but the last half of the ride was pretty solid.
Yes, I agree. I loved being able to be reading. Like I felt like I was right there with them. Not really at all, but I was John Wick with them, which was kind of nice.
Yeah.
I think it gives the sexy scenes, the smutty scenes, like a different layer.
Yeah, there's some emotional intimacy there now.
Oh, well, yeah. That too.
Oh, go on.
I was talking about the violence.
Oh,
the violence. Yes, the. Well, now I sound terrible.
No, my bad.
Anyway, for legal purposes, don't beat the people that you have sex with unless it's consensual.
Yeah,
and you have a safe word.
Go for it,
But I felt that when we got to see them do all of their John Wick plot stuff, that it made some of the sex scenes and the smutty scenes, I don't know, I guess more believable. They had like a different layer on them that I was like, oh yeah.
Well, it makes you, when you finally are able to pull back like the cover or the curtain, if you will, some of these like hard and tough guys, and you come to find out that Garrett's suffering a significant amount of trauma at the hands of a woman. It's like, oh, okay, so now there's like so many things that makes so much more sense. If I would have known that at the beginning, I wouldn't have hated him so much. And we find out all about his backstory and Kenzo's backstory, and I feel like the first one, because think about it, the character that we got first was Diesel.
Yep.
Right.
And we were like, okay,
I feel like you needed that one to be upfront, to be like, okay, so like, don't panic. He's crazy, but like, it's okay.
Right. But we got Diesel, and it kind of changes the way that you look at Diesel. And then, I mean, he's not my cup of tea, but like in some ways he very much is. And, then I'm like, damn, I wish I mean, without the knives, but like, could someone love me as fiercely as Diesel loves her?
I feel like we all want someone to look at us with the level of reverence that Diesel looks at his little bird.
He got a
I don't
tattoo
know.
for her within a week of knowing her.
Listen,
7 days.
I would, you know, what show is it?
Pussy game
there's
immaculate. That's all I gotta say.
Blue, why? I mean, I've showed you. I've got all sorts of tattoos for you, Blue.
Listen, we do need to get friendship tattoos at some point.
Is it Bridgerton where like the quote or whatever, the sound on TikTok says "I burn for you"? Is that Bridgerton?
I've never seen Bridgerton.
Yeah,
it is.
But like I think
Season 1.
Diesel is the problematic version of "I burn for you."
Oh, right. He means a literal
like,
fire.
with a lighter.
Right.
More like they will burn for you. I will burn
Right.
for you. The world will burn for you. There's just lots of burning.
I'll burn
Yeah.
myself for you.
Yeah, without
I'll
a
burn
moment's
you
hesitation.
for you.
Wow.
Want to die? Let me know. I got you, babe.
We'll go out together, finger gun style.
Honestly, iconic.
What did you guys think of the big reveal of Garrett? You know, the big bad and Garrett and that whole scene. And then, of course, you've got the stairwell after they go John Wick. And there's a lot of stuff that happened.
The only thing I didn't like was Roxy doing the Mission Impossible theme song in her head while she was exploring. I was like,
that was
Roxy, God
relatable.
fucking damn it.
I can neither confirm nor deny that I have or have not done that in the
Bro,
past.
I'm like, her fucking shoulders, like, barely, like, it was dislocated and kind of shoved back in. Her hands are fucked up. Her fingers are snapped. She was missing toenails. And she was sitting there singing the Mission Impossible theme song. And I'm like, Roxy.
It's giving Kronk.
Bro. Like, if that's not the party
Adrenaline's a
barbarian,
bitch.
who is that, you know? So that was the only thing about that whole arc that I didn't like. I was like, oh my god, okay.
What do you guys feel about Roxy holding up in torture? And
I was
like
impressed.
critiquing the guy because she's like, man, you have a lot to learn.
Yeah, my boyfriend does this for a living, and let me tell you.
We need Kyle Prue on TikTok to get some of those.
Oh my God,
like,
Kyle
ways
Prue.
to piss off men.
Oh my god.
So.
Do you know what, Purple? I do distinctly remember getting a text message late at night going, they're not really going to kill him.
Shut up. I thought that you forgot about that.
Wait,
Nope, I didn't.
about Garrett?
I was very upset.
Wow, really?
I did not want any of them to die. I was ready to riot. I think those were my words, actually.
I don't know. I don't know if I went into it thinking that any of them were gonna die necessarily, but it's interesting how much revolved around Garrett's character, as far as like his backstory, and that whole like second half of the book is basically all based on his past and all that. That was interesting. I would like to know how she got out of the trap that Diesel put her in forever long ago, where he set the house on fire and she has all these burns and stuff and all that. I'm like, Daphne, how'd you get out?
Yeah,
How did you get
that
out of
was very
Diesel wouldn't
confusing.
check. Like that was the only part that I was like, oh, it just seems so like unlike Diesel to like leave the job unfinished. I don't know. I feel like he's, especially for his brothers, it's not like a random stranger that he gets like distracted
Right.
because he sees like a cool car or something. I mean, he's still Diesel, so like him getting
Just
distracted
nothing-
makes
It
sense.
seems nothing if not thorough.
All
Yeah.
I'm saying is
Professionalism.
yeah, he takes pride in his work, and I didn't expect that to be how that would work out. But I'm willing to look past it, and the Daphne part was fine. I really liked Roxy being the one to take her ass out. And you know what? I also, in a way, I'm not going to say I liked the torture scene because that's not great. Though the writing was funny and Roxy obviously had a very good sense of humor about the whole thing.
Listen. If I can have a moment where we can misconstrue and say violence and sexy time is great, then you can have a moment where we can misconstrue.
Yeah, like, I don't know. Something in me was just like, you know what? Roxy can deal with that shit. Because she's, like, in the moment, like, I can't even tell them anything that's, like, close to the truth to, like, end the torture, because, like, they'll kill me. And I was like, oh, that doesn't seem very loving, happy, polyamorous couple of us, but okay. But the overall, like, I don't know, she endured and she went through that, and there's not a lot of people who would do even a quarter of that for anyone else, no matter the love or connection there. So I was like, you know what, Roxy, you deserve these fucking crazy ass idiots, bro. It's all right. Go get him, Tiger. Go get him.
And I think my favorite part, though, and this just speaks to my own personal trauma, is when fucking Roxy kills her dad.
Yeah.
Because I was like, you get him. Like, we're living vicariously through you.
Get his ass.
I loved that.
Yeah.
Fucking was like, yes. But that's just me and my trauma. So.
Yeah, I think that's like, we talked a lot about this book having good bones. And I feel like if you are the type of reader that really like inserts yourself into the story in that way, then that's a really powerful moment to envision your own trauma, envision your own, that role switch from victim to the one in control. And that level of power and being able to retake that, even in a fantasy setting, it's got to be really powerful for a lot of people.
I wholeheartedly agree. I really liked, if you will, in our text for me, it was 419. So it's the beginning of chapter 42. Roxy mentions that she's making plans to like do stuff with the business and stuff. And she says she's only going to hire ex-cons and runaways and then give them accommodations and then give them a second chance in life and make the rich fund. And I actually thought that was a really good character, like a telling character moment. Because underneath all of the crazy and the smexy and underneath all of that is going on,
sure,
we get to see her as an actual person come through and be like, okay, so there's all of this shit in the world and I can absolutely take it and just hate everybody and fuck the world to do what I want because I wanna, but instead you're doing something to put the good back out there.
Yeah.
And I love that it made her, because she is a little fucked up. She's a little cray-cray.
Yeah, everyone here is. But Roxy's up there.
So it shows her with the levels of gray is the point I'm trying to make. And this one was just a lighter shade. And I thought that was really, really cool. And I thought that it was a really good extra layer to put on.
Yeah, that was a good character building moment for Roxy, for sure.
I also really enjoyed throughout, especially the second half, when she's, coming into really owning the fact that she's like the queen of the Vipers or whatever, the power dynamics, then they shift and she starts to come into her own version of what that looks like for her. We kind of started to talk about that and started to see it a little bit in the first section, but I think it really comes into fruition for her in the second half. And I think at one point she even says something along the lines of, I'm starting to really come to terms with understanding what it means to be in this position. And I like it. And I like how, I guess that's a trope that I'm finding about myself is I like power plays. I like power dynamics. I like that, I really enjoyed that. I was just like,
power is sexy.
Yes.
In every form.
As far as like a character moment, I really liked, there's a lot of good to say about like Roxy and everything that we get out of her in the second half. And I agree completely with everything in that regard too. But I really liked how much work was done with Ryder's character. Because I didn't love him in the beginning. I mean, I didn't dislike him. He seemed good, but obviously he's the type that he's cold and then you get to know him and then he's like, whatever, right? Yes, he's super sweet, whatever.
He's icy, and then the ice melts.
Love it. We love the imagery. It was interesting to get to that point. I felt like, for someone like Diesel, for example, it's very, I wouldn't say easy for him to fall in love or easy for him to have those strong emotions, but he does not have the same walls that Ryder does. And to put in that level of work to get to the inner side of Ryder, because I felt like the whole text was like, oh my god, Garrett's closed off, you're the only one that can get to him, Roxy, this and this and this. I'm like, Ryder seems way more difficult to actually form that emotional connection, have him rely on you like a partner, not like you're just there, like you're you know, because he barely even will rely on his brothers. Kenzo, most of all, I would say. But it was really interesting to see her assert herself in that role in their relationship. And yeah, again, it was just weird. I was like, K.A. Knight, like, I get the whole Garrett part. I get there's a lot of trauma and we want to, like, really go into this backstory. But in my mind, that was a simpler transition, I guess, or something that Roxy was more well equipped for, whereas Ryder's relationship and being adult and having this level of responsibility, and it's not this thing that we're accomplishing through physical intimacy and repeated exposure. It is something that we are working through with trust and a certain level of responsibility, and I don't know. I liked what we got out of Ryder, especially with his story. His backstory got really good as far as like what he did for Kenzo, like growing up and taking out his father and stuff like that was really cool.
I feel like since we've finished the book, that really the weakest of the four bays is really gotta be Kenzo for me.
Mm-hmm.
I know that he's a fave, but
he's my favorite one.
I know, but there's really not a whole lot there. I mean, we had an actual arc with Ryder. It wasn't a great one, but we had a little bit of one, you know, because he's still kind of a douchebag at the end of it and closed off, but he tries, and
he does try.
That's the point. So we have something of an arc, and then we have something of an arc with Garrett, you know, with the dying of his ex-lady friendo and stuff, and we could see he's, you know, opening up and trusting and stuff like that. And I love the fact that they did like their both verbal and non-verbal check-ins. I thought that was really cool. I didn't tag any in my notes, but I saw those and I was like, I see you. I see you.
Yeah.
We even have something of a tiny little arc with Diesel. It's more like lots of little arcs where we just get to see his brain and how it works and doesn't work.
Right.
And how he just went and dove into his obsession. But we don't have anything for Kenzo. We have one little moment where he's like, nope, I gotta be strong for Ryder, and I'm gonna tell you that we're breaking up with you. Not really. Just kidding.
What about the scene though where he takes her to his mother's grave and like they have like this emotional moment and he's like talking about like, hey, I've never brought anybody to this place ever before, and they spend hours talking to each other and crying.
Okay, forgot about that part, huh?
Low key, I absolutely forgot because I thought it was really cringy. So never mind.
No,
I forgot.
cringy.
Oh my god.
You're like, ew, shut up, Kenzo.
Was that in this half or was that the last half? I feel like that was the last
half.
I think it was this half, yeah. I think so.
Are you sure?
I'm
I would have mentioned
really
it last
upset
time.
that you think that's
I'm
cringy.
sorry, I thought it was a little cringy.
What part?
Dude.
Just the whole
'Cause
like
he said he goes there and like makes him happy, and that's
because he gets in touch with his mom.
I get it. It just is a
would have
little
been
cringy.
issues.
What would have been cringy is if he was like, "Oh my god, I come here all the time. You want to like make out?"
No. That's gross. That's not cringy. That's just no.
Disgusting.
I don't know. It just made me feel like he likes to take picnics there to have fun, and I was like, that's not a great picnic place, honey. Find another one. That's not a park.
I'm sorry, no.
And it just made me go, oh, that's a little.
See, I would actually argue that Diesel didn't have an arc. Diesel had a backstory, and Diesel was like kind of the ultimate side character because all he did was help other arcs. He didn't have an arc himself.
Yeah,
I'm not
much
saying
the same person from beginning to
didn't
end.
need one because Diesel is Diesel. Like, I don't think the story would have been like made better if I don't even know how you would fix what's wrong with Diesel.
There's so much wrong with Diesel.
Don't even start.
That is absolutely professional help necessary.
But like, I don't think Diesel would be as hot if he like went to therapy.
Oh my god!
I think part of Diesel's charm is that he is crazy, and like from a book sense, in a romantic sense, if like you are the
working on
partner
yourself
in
is
real
hot.
life,
Leave it alone.
listen, in real life, no, it would be necessary. But in a book, I think Diesel, I just take Diesel for what he is. He's a fucking crazy dude, and it be what it be.
Please pause everything.
Working on yourself is sexy.
Dual Minds Co. Please make merch with that sentence on it. If he went to therapy, he wouldn't be as hot. Please, please, dear God, I would buy the fuck out of that t-shirt immediately. That's what I need.
If he went to therapy,
does anybody really need that?
It could be, we could make it like they, she, whatever. Like, we could just put it on a picture of a red flag.
Oh my God.
Want to conceptualize it. It's fine.
A note.
I just think that's like one of the best things I've ever fucking heard in my life.
You heard it here first, folks.
My therapist will be hearing about this one. Sorry, I can't come here anymore.
I won't be hot anymore.
She's like, let's break that down for a second.
Be like, ooh, that sounds like we need to talk about it.
Oh my goodness. I do love Diesel, though. Yes, exactly. Just on a red flag, perfect, just like please. That. I would literally, I need it. I feel like it will fit so many characters in all of the books we are going to read.
We should make it a bookmark.
Oh, that's good. And it's
that
red.
Is a red flag.
Smart.
Make it as a red flag that is the bookmark.
On that note, really quick before I forget, so we have changed from Dual Mind Co. to Smutty Scriptures just to make everything less confusing. But if I'm not mistaken, Purple has made a kick-ass series of things for our book Den of Vipers that'll be coming out soon.
Oh yeah, I forgot I did that the other day.
So yeah, we've got one for each of our boys. Each of the boys have their own little design, and we'll be putting that shit on t-shirts.
I legit forgot about it. I just got creative and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna do a thing. And then I was like, oops, my hand slipped. Moving on.
Accidentally made 4 new designs. God, I hate when that happens.
I know.
Shit.
Well, speaking of Diesel, I really want to talk about the sex scenes in the last half of the book. My favorite of the whole series, probably. The whole series is Roxy planning the surprise for Diesel, where he has to hunt her through the house. Now listen, in my defense, I'm mentally ill. Second of all, I have a big kink for all of like the primal, like kind of side of things. Yes, I love that stuff. And I really liked, because my thing is, I would say I'm pretty versatile. Like sometimes I'm more submissive, sometimes I'm not. I think in general that my default is more being top, being more in control of the scenario. I mean, I'm fine with that. I'm comfortable with that. But I really love the back and forth that they have. The fact that she sets this whole thing up, he's hunting through like the house for her. First of all, love it. Love that. And then she decides to hunt him like midway through. I was like, bro. I loved that. That was so good. I just love like that switch, because that's like something that would happen to me in those senses. Like sometimes I try to be more like submissive or more like play that kind of role in a scenario. And again, not that I can't, it's just not usually my natural inclination. So that's something that I would do. That's not really something I would consider like bratty behavior, though people have called me that and they would probably be right. But just the switch of like, wait a minute, I can turn this around. Like, I love that. The way they play with those extremes with those two, I fucking love. And then it leads right into the candles scene where he's like burning candles and then like dropping the wax on her and stuff.
It's a kitchen table, isn't it? Or am I thinking? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because they had to buy a new one.
Yep.
We eat here.
I love when sex makes you have to buy a new set of furniture.
Yeah, dude. Probably ran out of candles.
Sorry. Keep the carpenters a business.
But yeah, I loved that whole scene, the candles, the like that I was very into. My one thing I will say about that scene that I didn't love, because I was like, don't do that. Don't do that. Is there is some little, it's going to be terrible to say, but little cross-contamination here. Like, there was fingers and tongues in two different places where they should not have been in the same situation. And I was like, poor Roxy, you're going to get a UTI. And now you need a new kitchen table. So sorry, Queen. Hate to see that. That was the one thing I hated about that scene. I was like, holy shit, like this book has a lot of kinks in it. It just hasn't really appealed to me as of yet, like my personal set of kinks, which is a pretty expansive list. I mean, it had some knife play, but maybe not exactly the kind that I wanted. But we got to that scene and I was like, yes, dude, this is hitting every single fucking mark. And then I saw that and I was like, bro, I'm having phantom pains right now. Like, like just the idea of now I'm like, fuck, Roxy has a UTI. This is going to ruin everything for me.
It's okay. They have more than enough money to pay for a doctor.
Yeah,
Do you
but
imagine?
like,
Do you imagine being the OB for Roxy though?
You did what? I'm sorry.
right.
Not only from that point of view, but what about like if you happen to be a dude OB, you're
They would never
touching
allow
their.
it.
You'd be like in the room, elbows deep in Roxy, and everybody's like looking around.
Yeah,
Like,
he would
I promise.
die. He would die, and then she'd still have the UTI. I can't live
It's
like
a hazard.
this. I just can't do it.
I do want to mention, I know this doesn't really have a whole lot to do with the book, but I have also been on TikTok lately. And for this particular scene, I feel like not enough people know. If you are going to recreate the scene for any reason, in addition to all of the regular don't play with sharp objects kind of talk and stuff like that, you should keep in mind the candles that they use are real candles, like regular candles. But you should not do that in real life. Real life, those candles burn at a completely different temperature than the ones that are made to do that. If you're going to actually do, the wax play with your recreation, you need to spend a couple dollars and go get one that's for that purpose, because they will burn at a much lower temperature, which means you will not get, all of the degrees of burns on your skin and have to go to the emergency room and then explain, well, you see what happened was I read this book.
And then I burned myself immediately with a candle. There's actually this brand now, I've also seen this on TikTok, of candles for that purpose, but they actually melt into body lotion. So a really good transition from kind of
you can use some of them as lube too.
Yeah, so you could do that as like a pain and pleasure kind of
and they're
mix.
pretty.
Work it into a massage, maybe. Just pro tips.
Do they have really nice flavors?
They don't have Jason Momoa flavored.
for our listeners here, for Christmas, for Christmas this year, we all got each other candles. We didn't plan this. We all got each other candles. I got an Azrael candle from you two. I sent out a Rysand candle over to Purple. And then we have a Jason Momoa one for Cuddle. So we all got themed candles. Oh my! I bet there's some for these characters. I bet I would love a Diesel candle, honestly.
Diesel candles
like fire and smoke anyway.
It's just going to smell like cigarettes, gasoline.
Cigarettes.
I love
he
it.
He smells like cigarettes a lot. She mentions that.
That's
that would
amazing.
just make me think of my mother.
Yeah.
Maybe not the most attractive thing. Like, oh,
maybe
my
not
mom.
Not
imagine that book. Oh yeah, that doesn't. No, I don't want to imagine.
Type of
I
Welcome
mommy
to the last episode of Spice Christians.
I feel like every episode is the last episode.
And everyone is titled Mommy Issues. Every single one.
Wait, we don't have any daddy issues ever.
Well, we'll get to those, I'm sure.
Yeah. So, Blue, did you happen to have anything else that you want to say about your favorite spicy scene?
I think that was just about it. I actually have a least favorite, which I'm very disappointed in.
Because I don't actually have like a favorite. I think my favorite is just the favorite of the book, which happens to be the public. And it wasn't even sex. It was just the restaurant one. The rest of them are all kind of. Oh, you do?
I do. I have a favorite.
What's yours?
My favorite was Against the Glass in the boardroom.
Oh.
I suits and such power, and power is thing, and windows,
and he smells like mint.
And he smells like mint.
Your thing is mint.
It is. So you've got powerful mint suits in a giant window, and I assume a giant table,
Mhm.
and there's office chairs, and I'm sure that they shop at office supply stores, so there's office supplies everywhere, and I just can't
perfectly
help
organized. The perfect setting.
Oh, he would. He would absolutely be the one to have everything perfectly organized.
Yes, he would.
And color coordinated. Oh
Yep,
my god, I
he
bet you
would.
he makes a killer spreadsheet.
The OCD in you is just losing its mind.
Ryder's
Yes.
the one.
And I have praise kink, yeah,
Mm.
and calls her a good girl, which yes, please. I've never been called a princess before. He does that a couple of times, but
Ugh, I hated it. Ugh.
really,
Can't do it. No, I'd rather you
You do
call me a
princess.
bitch or a whore before you say princess to
Wow.
me. But I'm the opposite. I don't really have the praise kink as much. I think it can be fun, but I'm more into like Garrett's style of like, you know, fuck you like
Well,
a
here-
bitch you are or something. I'm like, ooh.
well, there's degradation. That's another side of the coin.
Yeah.
But it just he just yes, so many things, and this
weird.
is my daddy issues. showing through.
I'm weird because I'm somewhere in the middle where like I want to listen to you talk, but I don't want to have to respond in any way. Because like I want to listen
With
the
dirty talk?
tone. Yeah, because I can't focus on more than one thing. So I've had those moments where I've had to stop everything and I'm like, wait, what did you say? I'm sorry, I just want to answer your question. What did you ask me? Or like I can't.
Mhm.
If you're gonna give me directions, they need to be direct
Mm.
and clear. And that's the only
Specific.
thing you're allowed to say to me where you are requiring a response of any kind.
Well, see, he
Mm.
does that though, where he's like, "Stand up." Did I tell you to turn around? No. So
Yeah.
that those are very clear and specific.
And that's
things,
great.
I love clear and
But
specific.
if you want to call me either degradation, dirty whore, which, you know, like, okay, that's fine. There's a time and a place. Or if you want to say good girl or whatever, okay, time and a place. But if you want me to respond to either one, we have to completely stop everything we're doing so my brain can concentrate. And that's sometimes counterproductive.
Mm.
Sometimes that's a lot of times counterproductive.
That's funny. Yeah, I'm always on the opposite side. I feel like I'm the only one ever doing any type of like actual dirty talk. I'm kind of like a power bottom, depending on the scenario.
Okay.
Where I'm like, all right, I'll encourage you, I'll do all this work, but you at least, it's okay if you don't respond, but you at least have to make noise. I'm okay.
Noise
Yes.
is nice.
You have to
Yeah.
make
No, we-
noise, do
noise.
those, the grunting, the whatever. As long as I can hear that, I will keep going. That's all I need. So,
You know, I actually didn't super enjoy the office scene, mostly because I just wanted more and there wasn't more. It just
It's
was
okay.
like,
Just imagine all of their office supplies and the
but like,
nice
what?
desk chairs.
But I was just hoping that maybe the office board would still be there.
Oh.
Interesting.
So,
That's a whole
or
new
maybe
set.
like, or maybe the window was like several floors closer to the ground.
I see.
That's- Yeah. Apparently I'm learning so many things about myself.
This is an exploratory book.
Yeah.
Not in real life, but in book life. Hey.
In book life.
I mean, yeah, we're learning so much about each other. You all learned I have a primal kink today. We just learned
Yeah.
that little fun
I'm
tidbit.
taking a lot of notes.
Goofy.
Wait, what are you doing with those notes?
I can't like it's I can't respond to everything.
Gotta take my time.
So I feel like with a primal kink, like I read a different book. I can't remember now what the name of it was, but it was Primal Kink, and I was very like, this is a lot really fast, and
Mhm.
I don't, you, sir, like, sir. I'm gonna need you to calm down, sir. And I was like,
This
I
is
feel
a
like
Wendy's.
this is abusive. I don't know what's going on. And yeah, so that's I don't know.
That's funny.
Respectfully,
When I discovered
I-
that
yeah.
kink, for me, it was more like, it's like, hey, I'll give you a head start, run, do whatever you're gonna do, whatever, however the scene is set up, and I'm just like, chase me. And I just fucking dart. I'm out of there, dude. I love it. I love it.
I think we need to introduce you to Caleb.
In Zodiac Academy.
Caleb Altair.
We will get to Zodiac Academy one day. I'm
You
sure.
would love Caleb.
Honestly, sounds like it.
Listen. I not put forth Zodiac Academy as our next read because I don't think that I can emotionally handle it if you don't like it.
Okay.
And it really takes you the first 5 books.
Okay.
You really start liking it.
A small ask, 5 books. I assume of what? At least 400
no.
pages length?
5 thick books.
Oh,
But
God.
I will cry and not want to do this podcast
They
anymore.
are,
if you
they are
don't like
so
them.
thick. They are actually bigger than the Den of Vipers.
Damn.
Yeah. And I read Den of Vipers at first because the first time I read it was on Kindle.
Mm.
And I was on my phone and I was just like swipe.
Yeah,
this
so
is
I'm saying it goes fast because I'm just like, yeah, I don't even know how big these are. I'm
When
just
I-
clicking. Click, click, click,
When I
click, click.
ordered the book, I was like, yeah, I can read this again easy peasy in like 3 days. And I was like, no, holy shit, this book
Yeah.
is fucking huge. An inch and a half thick. She
Fair
a big girl.
Listen, she is doing her best.
What I will do for you is I am going to buy it, not tell either one of you that I have purchased the first book, and then I'm going to start reading it, and then I'm not going to tell you anything. Like, if I don't like it, I will tell you I never bought it. And if I do like it, I'll say, wow, I love
You
it.
won't like it. You won't like.
How do
Okay,
you know?
let's just. You know what? We should just talk
Back
about
to
this
Den of
later.
Vipers.
You're right. My
We can
least
come back to
favorite,
it.
my least favorite scene in Den of Vipers, as far as any of the smut goes, is actually, and I was disappointed. Maybe I built it up a little bit more in my head. I was really looking forward. I'm like, okay, it's a Wide Shoes novel. Of course, one day they're all gonna have one massive orgy, right? That's how it works. I hated that scene though. I really didn't like when they actually got them all together. Diesel's got blood everywhere, and it's just like, oh, why is this? I don't know. I enjoyed the idea, but when it actually came to fruition, I didn't enjoy that scene.
It wasn't really like everybody all together. It was like her and 2 dudes, and that was it.
Yeah, and
It was
then,
almost
people are
like
watching.
Hey Knight or whatever her name is. It was almost like she couldn't imagine what 5 people would be like.
Yeah.
And she's like, okay, well, I know threesome, so we're just gonna stick with that and have the other
Mhm.
2 just like there to
Listen,
tag in.
That's when you commit to your book and you say, honey, listen, I've got some research I need to do.
All right, so call Reese, call
Cassian.
as Cassian
Mhm.
and Jason Momoa, and we'll get this knocked
Hellion
out.
as well. Throw them all in. Yeah, I just, when it all came to play, I was like, okay, first of all, I kind of expected everyone to be involved. Writer's sitting there just like calling the shots. I'm like, okay, that's interesting. It just wasn't it for
Yeah.
me. And I really wanted that one to be good because I was like, again, like for me, that's like not the point of why choose or whatnot, but like
Yeah.
obviously, like, you know, there's something about this relationship dynamic that exists together, and I wanted to see it in a physical form. And it wasn't bad, but it also just wasn't my favorite.
I mean, I guess I also kind of was sad that you didn't have the dudes. They didn't ever suck their own cocks. Like I was
They're
like, come on,
always
man.
Like,
No,
like ultra
well,
bendy boy.
hey,
Like-
hey. I know a guy.
Oh my God.
But I digress. No, like
They
they
didn't
didn't
interact
do
with each
anything
other.
like with each other because, I mean, in real life, like that's a lot of times what would happen would be, you know, they'd, you know, find other sources.
I've seen Zoolander. I understand.
Oh yeah, Zoolander, definitely. I mean, I'm not trying to pull all the personal experience out here, lay that on the table, but it just, I just wish that it had gotten a little bit more varied.
Yeah. I think
With
where Kay
The
and I
holes.
fucked up. True. I think where Kay and Nate fucked up is like 2 of them are actual biological brothers. Like, and I don't want them to interact, but like maybe the idea of like having them in the same like instance, even if they're not touching. I mean,
I just find
why
it
did-
really
why make
hard to
them brothers?
believe that all of them are super hella straight and they're all super okay with seeing
Yeah.
each other's dicks, but then nobody ever touches anybody else,
I feel
Yeah,
like
'cause
Kenzo
even in a
watches.
group scenario.
Yeah.
Kenzo and Diesel would have been easy buy.
Easy.
Both of them.
They've already
Yeah.
had moments where they're watching each other. And
I mean,
Diesel's,
Diesel's
like,
fucking
jerking
crazy.
it.
You can't tell me that he would be like anything for my little bird, and then, you know,
Yeah. You're telling me it wouldn't
I'm not
happen?
trying to make this an X-rated thing here.
No,
We
you're
get what
I'm
you're
just saying that I feel that it could have been so much more
Yeah.
if you just had just a tiny bit more imagination.
Yeah.
Do you both feel a tremendous amount of sadness that there was no bed of money?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes,
I
I
was
do.
very upset. I was like, "No, you could have done that in the fucking boardroom. You kicked out all the people. You should just take out the money and throw the money, and then you have all of your chaos, and then you have your money, and everything else is organized and neat and clean, and like hardwood and
Mhm.
what it." Anyways, so my least favorite was probably the one in the locker room is my least favorite
I see. Yeah.
because I love clean and all of that and I hate sticky and I just feel like
Yeah.
since it was dingy and gross and it was like nobody had ever cleaned it and it was sweaty,
But it was
that you know
fast, too.
everything and
Mhm.
yeah, that's fine, but you know every single surface in there is gross
Yeah.
and sticky and I don't want any part of my body anywhere near that.
Yeah. I don't think I'd even be able to be comfortable in
No.
that environment enough to like actually enjoy myself.
No.
So I feel you
No.
with that one.
I gotta tell you something I hoped for, and this is gonna shock you. I don't know if you guys are ready for this.
Oh.
Something that I wanted but wasn't in here. You are not ready for this.
I
This
am
is probably
not.
gonna being the vanilla one of the group. This was gonna take you like way crazy. I really, really wanted more gunplay. Like
Whoa.
I wanted her. Like it would have been so easy with Diesel for her to have to, suck one and take one and like we got a knife in the ass. I'm like, okay, cool. But like I wanted like a gun. Who is he gonna like do the thing? Is it a rifle? Maybe it's a shotgun or something. Like I wanted more.
Because I thought there was.
There is
No, but I wanted
little bit.
more.
Yeah, it's very like teased upon.
Yeah, I wanted a lot more detail and bigger guns.
Oh. I wanted okay, so again, I feel like we need to mention this for the kids at home. Okay, not for the kids, for the adults, because kids
Yeah,
should
no
not be
kids
doing
listen
any
to
of
this.
this.
18
No,
plus
this
We're
is
reading
18
this.
plus. 18
You gotta
plus.
go. You gotta
21.
go.
21.
For the very very adult people at home, don't play with loaded guns.
No, don't do that.
Don't do that. Don't do
Unloaded.
that. Don't
No.
play with loaded guns. However, in the book,
Yes.
in the book, in
Yeah.
the very fictional, non-real, especially non-real life book
Mm-hmm.
with these non-real people in this
Mhm.
non-real situation, I wanted it to be loaded.
Right.
Russian roulette, one bullet.
Yeah, that would have been
That
hot.
would have been so much hotter in
Yeah.
the book, not
Yeah.
in real life. In the
Like,
book, don't
not-
ever play with guns.
But not a
Unless-
handgun.
No, don't play with loaded guns.
But not
I-
a handgun. I think it needed to be a shotgun.
The scene too, like in that scene where she has the gun against Diesel's head and she keeps clicking it and it goes like in that. Oh my god, that awakened something in me. You're gonna have to deal with
Could
that
you
later.
imagine what reading that? Because you should not do that in real life.
Yeah.
But reading that, what reading that would have done to you?
On
Like,
a bed of money?
oh my god!
Oh God.
We need to write a gangster romance.
thing.
Let's go. Audience, Russian roulette,
Yeah.
bed of money. Go.
But no,
Office Depot.
I wanted it like in her and firing and like yeah. I wanted
Without, with don't not real life.
yeah, no,
not
not
loaded.
real life, but like that's what I wanted just more of that. 'Cause, yeah.
Interesting. I see my thing, I think when I'm reading it, I liked like the scene with it against like his head or like in her mouth or something like that. But once they go into actual like insertion, I'm not really too much into it. Like with the gun scene and with the scene with Ryder where he puts like a water bottle or something it's described as.
Oh.
And I'm like,
Yeah,
"Ugh."
I didn't really understand.
That
what
one wasn't-
was.
Get that out of there.
My brain made me think of one of those like beer bottle caps,
Yeah. Oh my god.
and I was like,
terrified.
"Oh my god, that would be so sharp."
It should.
Don't
Knowing
do
his
that.
character, it should have been.
A
It should
wine
have,
bottle?
it
Not
should
the
have been a wine
wine
bottle.
Okay, so if you're gonna recreate this again, don't put.
Just
You
don't,
have to
and
be
then end
very-
it there.
Be very careful about the things that you put inside of other things.
We need flared ends.
no.
We need body
need flared
appropriate
ends.
material.
We need not hollow glass because your muscles are very strong. They will break the glass. Don't do that.
Not to go off on a tangent, but I did recently. I know this now because I did watch or was told about it and actually watch it, but a video that happened apparently in 2008 on the internet. So,
I just don't want anybody to get hurt.
nope. Just all of the things that we talked about in books are meant for books only. So don't do them unless you are a professional. So,
Or are
You know
in
what would
the
have been
presence
good?
of professionals
Just-
with their guidance.
do you know what also would have been good is Shibari.
Sure.
I feel like
Yeah.
I didn't do any
Kenzo
of that.
or
Yeah.
or Kenzo would have been good for Shibari or fucking Ryder. Ryder should have done Shibari. Had that bitch tied up in his fucking ceiling in his bedroom for like 2 or 3 hours, and then
Well, that's a little weird.
They kind of do that
In
with
the
chains a
ceiling?
little bit.
no, like to the ceiling, like suspended.
Oh, okay. You said in the ceiling, so I was thinking like
yeah, no,
behind
dude, like,
one of
can
the
you
vents.
imagine Roxy suspended above his bed
That would
from
be
the
hot.
ceiling, and instead of touching her, he does it himself, watching her.
All
On a
right,
bed
so
of
Dead
money?
Vipers 2, KA, you
Listen.
out there?
Listen, coming from the vanilla one of the group, I've got all the ideas.
Yeah, it was interesting. They didn't really go into that at all, but they went into some pretty like extreme like BDSM stuff and completely avoided that. I mean, there were chains. Like Diesel had
Yeah.
her chained up once, and Garrett and her used them lightly, but definitely not to like the level. No rope, nothing fun. Hate to see it.
I think it was like a throwaway line, though. It wasn't like, hey,
Yeah.
let's use this in XYZ ways. It was like, yeah, so I feel like it's probably over there somewhere or something.
Yeah, we have
Yeah.
them if we need them, kind of vibe.
It's a thing somewhere.
hmm
Or another one could have been balcony, like
Sure.
over the edge of the balcony. What movie was that? That was vampire one. Fucking
I think that was
Underworld.
actually Britney Spears or
It's-
Michael Jackson.
no, that was with a baby. It was Underworld, where they did it over a waterfall edge or whatever. But
On a
but, like,
building?
no, this was the one, and I just said it was a waterfall edge cliff thing. They did. It was the very first time they had sex.
Listen, I've seen the movies once. like a decade ago.
Fair enough.
But that kind of thing over their balcony would have been pretty cool.
I was actually surprised we did not get a single pool scene.
Yeah, they have.
They went
pool,
through
and they
all the
talk about
trouble
it.
of mentioning how it's like a wonderful pool, and they don't use it once.
No.
They are busy.
Listen,
Yeah, I could have yelled with any one of those scenes over like Kenzo being like, "We're gonna go to the casino today," and it's like, oh, another boring thing. He's gonna put her in his storage closet. They're gonna do the thing.
Stop. That was not pork.
Oh, right.
Kenzo.
Never mind. But I didn't love them. I
So-
just don't get anything from those scenes. Like, I'm not a big Kenzo guy. He's not my least favorite, but he's not my favorite.
at
But I
least they
don't-
didn't fuck on his mom's grave.
Yeah, the bare minimum.
Bare minimum.
Bare minimum.
But hey, we met it.
All right. If there are any gentlemen listening, do not. Do not. I don't care what blog on the internet tells you it's a good idea. No lady or female presenting uterus having person would like it if you guys had moments in over your mom's grave. Don't do that.
No, even a graveyard is fine, but your mom's grave, bro? Come on.
That's weird.
That's mommy issues.
Especially if you're
Yeah.
like if it's V card time.
Oh my god.
Oh,
I just want you to be here for this
Ow.
moment.
No.
ow, cringe.
Disgusting.
Yeah, she might have a bone to pick with you.
You're banned.
I
You're
hate
actually
it.
banned. You're banned, and Smutty Scriptures is over yet again.
Ooh.
All
On
good
that
resist.
note, what character would you most want to bone?
In real life, right?
IRL with all of the IRL safeties.
I gotta go with Kenzo. I mean, yeah.
You wanna
In
do,
real
like,
life,
the casino
Kenzo.
ones, like that kind of thing was that, or?
Yeah. I want, because I'm assuming it comes with the power and the status and all that with it, right? So, for example, the restaurant would still happen without being arrested. Right?
Let's say yes for fantasy's sake. Yeah.
Okay, if we're also going to talk about book immunity, then I guess that comes with the health immunity.
It does.
Yeah.
Then I'm going to say Diesel. If it comes with the health immunity.
So
if it
I'm
doesn't
not getting
come with the health
arrested.
immunity,
You're
no.
you're not going to the hospital.
Or dying.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like at the end of the day, physically, none of these men are really my type, personally.
So Roxy?
No. No, Roxy's not really my type either, I don't think. But physically, it just like, none of them really stood out to me in that sense, so I would probably have a really hard time, like, actually being attracted to any of them in real life. But I would say it's probably a tie between Garrett and Diesel. But Diesel would have to have some serious, like, boundaries and stuff happening, because in that last scene where they're together and he's, like, literally, like, he scars her in, like, the last one and stuff, and it's like, that man was very close to actually just killing Roxy. He was like very close to that like edge, and she kind of had to walk him back.
They would be going out doing what they loved.
Hey man, good for them. But she literally had to walk that back. She was like, "Hey, remember how you give pleasure too, and it's just pain right now?" He he he. And then Diesel's like, "Oh yeah, I'm like actually almost murdering you." Right. So personally, that's a little over the line for me. Not the end of the world, but I think I like Garrett's approach probably the most. But I would probably have the most fun with Diesel. So those are probably my choices.
Want Diesel as a best
friend.
Yeah, someone who noxiously supports you. Yeah, look, you know,
would burn down the world for you.
Yes, there's a TikTok sound that says it's two people talking. One's like, "What would I have to do for you to not like love me anymore?" And they're like, "I don't know, man. You'd have to do something like real bad." And he's like, "Yeah, what is that?" And he's like, "I don't know. If you went Hitler and like genocide and all that, I'd, you know." And he's like, "Right, okay." And he's like, "I'd be like, well, come on." Like, I feel like that's Diesel, but like to an unhealthy mental health perspective.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I want that as a best friend.
Okay. Fair enough.
The blue got some work.
I just show up at your house tomorrow. Hey. Hi.
I brought my knife. Let's go.
Is this what you wanted? I'm like burning a bouquet of roses in my hand as I'm standing there. Goofies.
Oh.
Speaking of all the boys, though, this is one scene that I wanted to talk to you guys about in the epilogue.
Yeah.
What do you think? Okay, there's 4 rings, and I wanted to know your opinion because, of course, dear reader, they all get married in the end.
I just want them to be cock rings.
Well, that probably would have worked better than these 4 rings. I think I disliked most of the descriptions of like the engagement rings or whatever that they gave Roxy. I don't know if I liked any of them. Do you guys have one that you like? Anyone that would be your style?
I forget what page is that.
I don't even remember.
I
what
actually
they
have
said.
that marked. It's it's in the epilogue, so it's like page 635. So it's past chapter 70. And then she's literally like, "Tell me there aren't 4 rings," as she's smiling, having a good time. Diesel gives her, it's described as a beautiful orange stone set in a band etched in flames. I'm just picturing, like, the Guy Fieri t-shirt, like, flames for some reason. And
Love that.
and like, I just don't know if I would want to wear that as, like, my wedding ring. So, like, that was a little weird. And then I forgot what Garrett's was, but I actually wanted to talk about this too because it says, like, it doesn't give a description again because they briefly mentioned it earlier on in the book and I really could have used a refresher, but it says, Garrett murmurs, drawing my gaze, and he opens the box to reveal the ring from Daphne. "This was always yours, I just gave it away by mistake."
Yeah, I did not like that.
You're re-gifting the engagement ring? From the woman that almost killed it? Oh no.
Did you?
Well,
it's at this moment that Blue realizes that my engagement ring was a re-gifted engagement ring.
I'm
said
really
what I
busy.
said.
But like, just don't do that. Yeah. And here's the thing too. Daphne is a straight up like murderer and like a horrible person who tortured him and literally like gave him so many scars. And he's like, oh my god, naturally.
I think it was just a gold band. I remember.
Okay, yeah, just a gold band.
Yeah, I think it was just a gold band because I think she got it out of the side of his bed and was like, "The fuck is this? Were you married?" But I think it was literally just a gold.
Okay. That at least is like plain and can go with other things, but I just feel like with how much Garrett's trauma is brought up and how not to say easily that it's triggered, but he obviously has a lot of triggers. So there's a lot of opportunities for him to get really upset and remember that situation. I just felt like him giving Daphne that hit the ring from Daphne that he was going to give her to Roxy would be this constant reminder.
Yeah, that's not a good look.
Yeah, it's not a good look, and it doesn't like make sense to me for Garrett's character.
Okay.
Kenzo's ring that he gave her it says red stone with carved dice on the side.
So stupid.
And then Ryder's says a traditional cold-looking huge diamond.
Okay.
Just
here's my thoughts. First of all, I think 4 rings is a bit much.
Yeah, which
they need to be cock rings.
They're giving them to her, so I would
give it to her.
I would have liked a multi-stoned ring with colors that represented each of the guys. I feel like that would have been better. But this is book world, right? Like this is not. Now, I'd also like to take a moment and remind us about the jewelry and the things that they have bought her in the past. And none of it has been corny. All of it was exquisitely made, really, really well done. The jewelry and stuff that they got was like really, really nice. All of the clothes and stuff that they got her was really, really nice. Very much her style. So I would like to think that the flames are not Guy Fieri flames, that it's probably just like, the outline.
Orange
for the stone, because of flames and fire, and red would be for the dice, and I get those. Were they ones that I would want? No. Even the traditional one, no. I feel like that should have been a blue stone, like an
icy
sapphire opal.
Ooh, that could be good. I just don't understand the logistics of wearing these, because does she put like on her actual like ring finger? Does she put like whoever her favorite of the day is like a competition? Like
our bay of the day?
Yeah, like is she doing that? Like is she picking out? Like does she put all 4 of them on one finger? Because that would look really silly. Like,
they don't say, right?
Yeah, no, they just tell her she has 4 rings.
Listen, she's got 2 hands and 2 feet. It might be strangely intimate.
It might have been better served as a necklace, or like I said, like one ring with
to rule them all.
No, but like with elements of the guys. I feel like that would have signified one relationship with everyone, as opposed to 4 individual relationships. But I guess isn't that really what she has? Is 4 individual relationships?
Yeah, because none of the boys in the story have a romantic relationship with each other, so I guess it is kind of like that.
Yeah, so it's a reverse harem. It's not a polygamy situation.
Yeah.
See, I would be thinking that it would need to be like, I feel that they missed a mark. To me, what I thought would be really cool and very on brand would be if they had done rings, tattooed.
Oh,
yeah, I thought tattoos,
and then and then have them all be coils.
Of the snake? Of the viper, so to speak?
A viper. Like, all of them get a viper tattoo ring thing. And it'd all be the same. I feel like that would have been the mark.
Yeah, that does make sense.
I kind of assumed, I know Diesel kind of fantasized about it at one point, but I was surprised she made it out of the whole story without any tattoos or carvings of their names. Because Diesel definitely mentioned wanting to carve his name into her.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, and Garrett got that little heart on his butt. Just little things. But I did I don't know, I kind of assumed that Roxy would end up with something for all of them in a way, because tattoos were kind of not like a main story point, but obviously she has tattoos, Ryder's covered in tattoos, Diesel's covered in tattoos, Garrett does tattoos, he has tattoos, everyone has tattoos, everybody. So, yeah, that would have made a lot of sense for everything they had led us up to this point to the characters to believe,
And they take the Viper thing not only as a last name, but like as basically the main component of their identities.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I feel like to not have that be represented in the ring, which is supposed to be representative of your relationship in this particular tradition. Nothing about this entire book has had me thinking anything close to the word traditional.
Right.
So why do we need rings now? I mean, and I get that they're like subverting tradition by having it be like carved dice in flames. But that just makes it sound like cheap costume jewelry,
right?
Or like cheesy real jewelry that you paid way too much money for some reason. That's tacky.
Mm-hmm.
I'm picturing like a super old Karen lady with like a giant brooch of like a teddy bear or something that's got diamonds in it. And you're like, just maybe don't.
Yeah.
But yeah, tattoos. I feel like that's the way they should have gone, and they should have made it a viper, like a snake ring. Yeah, like that.
I think they should have done the cover. The cover of this is so nice. If you could have just told me, it's just for every listener here who isn't familiar with the cover of this, it's basically just a skull with a golden viper, so to speak, going through like underneath and through like the eye sockets, and there's a couple flowers on here as well. If you just had all the characters get like matching tattoos, that would have probably been more symbolic and more in line with what we know about these characters than a traditional wedding, a diamond wedding ring. Like, as if Ryder.
I mean, it would have been okay if it had been like Mom's ring.
Sure.
No, because then you would have two entire boys that leaves out.
No, I'm saying like Ryder's ring. If Ryder's ring had been their mom's ring.
Oh.
She was buried with this seed. Kenzo, dig it up.
Get your shovel.
All right, Kenzo.
We're going on a picnic. Bring the shovels.
But yeah, I think tattoos would have been perfect. Honestly, I really do.
Or some
all of them had tattoos.
Yeah. Garrett could have done it for everybody. He literally tattoos her earlier on in the story.
Right.
Yeah.
So could have very easily transitioned into that, but that's all right, Kay Knight.
I do have one giant question, which is a point of contention for me that has nothing to do with the rings.
Go on.
On page, what for me in the Kindle was 549, but it's the very beginning of chapter 60. This is whenever that house is going to get blown up and, she murders Daphne and all of that fun stuff. And she's walking out and she sees the dead people. She sees Sam is dead. Who the fuck is Sam?
That's the
oh my god, Selena.
Well, she's like super sad that Sam is dead, and then they make a big thing about going to the funeral and stuff. I'm like, who
Sam
the hell is Sam?
Which
one
of the bodyguards?
There were many of them.
One of the original two that doesn't like that she played cards with, and then ended up like he helped her later on.
I didn't remember him either.
I had to go back and reread to figure out who the fuck Sam was. And the note that I made was my initial reaction. Who the fuck is Sam? That's my brain. Went, who is this?
Yeah, I knew Tony, like kind of. I was like, okay, I kind of know that name, but I did not know Sam at all. All I thought was, oh my god, Selena. So nice to see you here. Wow. But I didn't know who that was either. I'm going to be honest, I didn't go back and read, so I assumed it was the one that helped her get the weapons out before she was going to go meet up with Garrett, because she got that fake text from Daphne to go to the hotel, and it was a whole setup scene. I thought Sam was the one that helped, he broke down the thing for her to get, weapons out of the safe room. That's who I assumed it was. In my head, I was like, okay, well, maybe that's Sam. But I could be wrong.
I don't know who the fuck Sam is, but apparently we care a lot about him.
He's gone. Sam!
Roxy's only friend. I I don't think she was around anybody long enough because this is like what, a month, 2 months,
maybe 2 weeks. I think so.
No, it's
I don't
longer
think she was
than
around them long enough to form a fucking friendship.
No, I'm
let
pretty
alone
sure.
be so sad that you go to the funeral and cry all that much.
Yeah. It's got to be like 2 weeks. Because the first 35
Are none
chapters
of
is
them
1
women?
week. Yeah, right? Why wouldn't you? If you're so angry about men touching Roxy, you can't hire female security guards? No one available at the time? I guess it's
You
fine.
can't tell me that you don't know a single woman who's a good shot.
Hey, man. They're like dudes only, but also don't look at her, don't touch her, don't make eye contact with her. If
Don't
she
even think
needs
about her.
something. Yeah, so, could have probably saved themselves some stress if they were going to be that territorial about it.
And murder.
Yeah,
Could have saved themselves some murder.
Yeah, because they definitely did murder one guy for what did he even do? He like touched her wrist because she was like, he thought she was like cheating on cards or something, right? They were,
Yeah.
like, playing
I
poker
don't
together
even
or something.
remember.
We don't like that guy anyways. So
No, he had to go. But also just get female security guards. But it's okay. You know what? Ryder was just really busy at the time and couldn't think of these kind of things.
there's a lot going on. It's fine.
Exactly.
I believe Blue, isn't it your turn?
Mm-hmm.
It could be.
It is.
I think it's Blue's turn.
Lay of the day. Sam, best character in Den of Vipers, left the biggest impression on me as a character.
True. Yeah.
I was so torn up.
Really
when he
drove
died.
the story forward.
Sorry, spoilers. Sam does die. I know you get introduced to Sam and you fall in love with him really quickly, but just appreciate the short amount of time that you get with him whenever it starts. But actually,
No, okay.
I don't know. An official lay of the day. I guess I'm gonna give it to Diesel just on the off chance that maybe Roxy didn't get a UTI. If she did get a UTI, Diesel's out of here and it's Sam. If she didn't, then yeah, it's Diesel. Because that was probably my favorite scene in the entire book. So I was like, okay, there's like setup and things happening. So
I bet if she did, and the doctor said it's because you did that, I have a feeling he would like chop a finger off of his own to punish himself for doing that to her.
I agree.
I think he doesn't think about the consequences. I think he's just like, your body is mine. I'm going to do whatever I want to it. And then it's like, wait. But there are some logistical concerns.
But what I'm saying is, but if he then realized that his actions caused her to have some harm that wasn't okay, wasn't what they agreed on, I think he'd be so upset with himself, he'd like chop off his own finger or something. Like he would go crazy.
Or have her stab him.
Yeah.
Something.
He'd be like one free kick to the balls in exchange for your unfortunate UTI.
Punish. Yeah. Because I feel like that would be very, very much in the realm of Diesel's, that retribution for unwarranted and unintentioned pain.
Yeah. All I know is she needs some fucking antibiotics. Girl, I'm so sorry. The scene was great, but it didn't really end up too well.
Diesel's going to go down to the local Walgreens and get some douches.
Something. But yeah, I'm gonna have to give it to Diesel. I think he really just steals the scene every single time he's in any type of moment. My actual runner-up is probably somebody like Garrett. I like the story. I like how important it was throughout the entire arc of the book. But Diesel just steals the scene. He's the first that you kind of start to feel safe with, in my opinion, even though it starts off in the complete opposite way. You get that connection with him, the little bird, when he tattoos himself, or I don't tattoo himself, but he gets that tattoo for him and Roxy. I love it. I love the intensity. I love the love. I love Diesel's character and how Roxy is able to kind of match him in some ways. Match him in his fire, not be burned by it, so to speak, yada, yada, yada. Just gotta be a little careful back there. That's it. That's it. That's all I ask.
I think he did make an attempt during that scene to wash himself, to
Not
disinfect, but it was not enough.
It wasn't enough for me.
They're not saying enough happy birthdays.
Exactly. But before we get too off topic, I'll go ahead and read our outro here. We want to thank you guys for listening. I know we did our little shout out earlier, but we do have this Muddy Scriptures Instagram out where you still have access to all the Dual Minds Code designs as far as all our merch. And we're using all those social medias as far as promoting the new episodes and kind of building community and talking on there. So we'd really appreciate you guys checking that out. Of course, you can still go over to the Blue Cromwell Instagram, Twitter pages, all of that fun stuff to get any type of updates. I'm still active on there, but we have something dedicated for the actual podcast now. So, and these two have been working so hard on that. I'm here doing editing and having fun, and these two are making designs and doing social media. We have like this great little team flow right now, and it's amazing. So I just wanted to give that shout out to the homies because like, even though Purple forgot, they did they did make some really fun designs for Den of Vipers, and in general, these two have put a lot of work into ACOTAR theme stuff, Throne of Glass theme stuff, that the day planners and stuff I think are so interesting and really well done, and just want to, acknowledge all the work in there. Next episode, we are becoming masochists again with our favorite author, Sarah J. Maas. We should be getting back into Era of Fire. We are going to be reading, I believe we said somewhere around chapter 35-ish to the end. So back on our Throne of Glass grind. We love to see it. And we just want to thank you guys for listening, and we hope to see you soon. Church is adjourned.